Hey guys, it's Stephanie with Lice Advice. One of the most commonly asked questions we get at our call center is how do I know if it's lice? I'm going to try and help you sort that out in this video. One of the most common symptoms that we experience is itching, but only about a third of individuals will experience this symptom. And this is because head lice leave behind saliva after they feed. And if you are allergic to that saliva, then you'll experience that itch. But only a third of people are allergic to that saliva. So it's sort of like a mosquito when a mosquito bites you and then you're itching. And so usually the itching doesn't start for a few weeks after an infestation has begun. Another symptom that we see a lot is skin picking. So if your child is picking at their head, an area of their head often, take a look and see what's going on. Because if you see some small raised red bumps, those could be bite marks and they could actually indicate an active infestation. Another symptom is sleep disturbance, and this is due to the fact that lice are most active at night when you're sleeping. They do a lot of their work during the night, and they'll lay eggs and they'll feed, and they know that they can move around readily. So this is a good indication that there is something going on. Again, remember, many infested individuals are not allergic to the saliva and show no symptoms at all. So the first thing you want to do is start with a visual head check. Many people are confused between lice eggs and dandruff. So once you're looking through the hair, if you see anything that looks out of place and you're not sure what it is, why don't you try blowing on it or tapping on it with the end of your comb? If it easily moves down the hair shaft or blows right out of the hair, it's not a nit. Nits or lice eggs are actually cemented onto the hair. The lice secrete a glue and then they lay that egg onto the hair shaft. And those eggs are laid within 1/4 of an inch of the scalp. They won't normally be further than that unless the infestation is old or you've partially combed some of those eggs down the hair shaft. And this is because nits or eggs cannot hatch at room temperature. They need the warmth of your head to incubate and to be able to hatch and then survive. What you're looking for is, again, evidence of either live bugs, which can be very tricky to catch unless there's so many of them. Live bugs will actually align themselves with the hair so that they can disguise themselves. What you'll probably see more often than not are the nits or the eggs. And these, again, are going to be glued to the hair shaft. They should be within 1/4 of an inch of the hair shaft when they're first laid, and they will grow out as your hair grows. If you don't see anything in your visual check, you should move on to nit combing. Combing the hair wet is the gold standard, as it's much more effective than dry combing. You want to use a good comb, such as a Terminator comb. The tines are nice and tight, and they'll really do a good job at pulling things off of the hair shaft. When you're combing, you want to start at the scalp and really kind of comb the hair all the way out to the ends. You don't want to come half partially out because you could leave the nit intact. And you're going to need good lighting. You're going to need paper towels, and a magnifying glass would be a good idea if you do have one. What you're going to be looking for are, again, eggs or bugs. So this is what nits look like on a paper towel. You want to wipe your comb firmly on the paper towel. You need to use good pressure because nits will get stuck in the nit comb. This image shows you what nits look like when you first wipe them. They're very small, but they usually have this kind of teardrop formation, and they can look like they have a little tail on them. It's not actually a tail. What it is the hair, the glue that has come off the hair shaft when you've dislodged that nit. That glue stays intact that was on the hair. This image here is just blowing up these nits so you can see them a little bit better. And they have this little teardrop looking shape. And these are all on hair shafts right here. But if you were to comb this nit all the way to the end, it would keep a piece of that glue on there. And that's what ends up looking like this little tail that you see. If you were to dislodge a bug, you would most likely be able to see it. It should be visible to the naked eye, unless it's a baby. Those are really tiny. Um, Adult lice are about the size of a sesame seed. And this is what they look like on the comb. And this is what they look like if you were to magnify them. You can see right into their bodies, and if they have just fed, they'll look a lot more red from the blood. You can actually, they're clear, and you can see their digestive tract. So you never want to go by just color alone. You want to look and determine, and make sure, do they have 6 legs? Do they have 2 little pinchers? Does the bodice look like this? Because lice are pretty consistent in the shape. Females are much larger than males, and they need to really store those eggs. The males can be a lot longer and skinnier, and baby lice will be really tiny. So if you found this video helpful, I'd like you to like my channel, and you can comment and ask for any other videos that you might find helpful. I'm also going to put a link into a video on head checks if you'd like to see that a little more up close and personal.